A passion for gardening and a passion for railroading come together beautifully at the Bifolk residence. Frank and Dee Dee Bifolk of White Bear Lake operate the Big Sandy and Cumberland Garden Railway. It combines Dee Dee's love of gardening with Frank's knowledge of railroads. After many years of gardening, Dee Dee decided something was missing from their yard.
I got it in my head that I wanted to do something small out here, actually. And I'm thinking like a 20-foot oval track. I didn't know. Frank's the train guy. So I kind of presented it to him, and he kind of took off with it. And before I could stop him from running away with it, it was done.
Frank is a retired locomotive engineer, and he spent a couple of years building the track before feeling a rush to finish it.
I think what prompted us to finally get a train out is a lot of the ladies were finally getting their husbands to go on a walk with the promise that they would see the train, and then they weren't, and they were getting angry. So I said, we're here to see the train. Where are you going to have your darn train? So we got my boys to help, and we put everything in and got everything operating finally.
The train has now been running for over 6 years. It took quite a bit of time for Frank to figure out the perfect layout for his creation.
I had no plan. I had to do the way the real railroaders did it, and that was figure out how to go around, under, through, or over. And I spent a lot of time in the driveway just looking in her garden, trying to figure out where I could go where I wouldn't, have to move a lot of plants. And then I just bought some sections of track and eyeballed it, and I marked it all off when I could figure I could go through this bush, this tree, around this plant, and then I picked the track up after I marked it out and laid it down again. And I basically walked it all the way around with just a few pieces, and that gave me an idea what I was going to need for curves and long straight sections and things like that.
Frank explains the layout of the Big Sandy and Cumberland Garden Railway.
In the front yard, the way the railroad's been built, it's fairly minimal. When you get the train out there, there's very few places you can see an entire train. But again, the garden was our focal point, and I didn't want to dominate it, so we kind of accented with the railroad. Why don't you say, well, if we're going to go through the fence and you're going to go in the backyard, then you build what you want, and then I'll plant relatively to scale, and which is why back here you'll see the 9 bridges, 2 trestles, the river and the waterfall and the 2 lakes and that sort of thing. So back here it's more of the focal point, but of course the garden enhances it tremendously.
The Bifolks open the gates to their yard on Sunday afternoons for the public to see their train and garden.
I want people to appreciate nature and the beauty that's there, because I think it's pretty precious to us all over the world.
The Garden Railway is located at the corner of McKnight Road and Cedar Avenue in White Bear Lake.